Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships and Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are in the Poltava. I'm assuming that's how it is pronounced. I apologize if I'm wrong, but it is the new Tier 6 premium Russian battleship. And so without further ado, let's check out what we have going on. For commander, now we have Lev Goller. You guys already know him. Andrew Cunningham, Charles Madden. We've got Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Collective Labor, Reaching Out, and Will to Rebuild as our perks. And then if we go to here, we can look at our equipment. We are running Aiming Systems Mod 1, we are running Steering Gears Mod 2, and we are running Target Acquisition Mod. So, let's look at our stats. We have 59,100 hit points. It's a little bit lower, I think, than most of the Tier 6 battleships. Then we have torpedo reduction of 33%. It's not bad at all. Artillery, it's got 356mm guns, and it's got 9 of them in a 3x3 configuration, 2 at the front, 1 at the rear. They reload in 27.5 seconds, and they turn 180 degrees in 36.5 seconds. So pretty good. And not too shabby on the secondaries either. You get 16 of them at 130 millimeters with an 8% chance to set on fire. It's got 27 knot top speed, even with our dispersion, well, somewhat dispersion build that we have going on. And it has a 12-second rudder shift time, which is not bad for a battleship. Concealment 13.6 is really good for a battleship. And the detectability while firing in smoke is only 12.4, so you can get away with firing in smoke a little bit, even though it's not an amazing bonus. It is a little bit of a bonus. Moving on, we've got Sure Shot. This is the thing that we get with all of the Russians, which is the better ballistic trajectory, means a flatter firing arc, which is a double-edged sword, because yes, it's flatter, it's easier to aim. However, you do have problems shooting over top of islands and such. But it has superior armor penetration shells, above average AP shell penetration, and it has modest guns, and this is the one thing that so far I have struggled with, and you're going to see it in this game a little bit, because we're going to have some ships go completely broadside on in front of us, and they just never get punished for it. So it's low caliber main guns, being only 356 millimeters at Tier 6. Type B battleship project equipped with 356mm guns was developed simultaneously with a larger Type A battleship, aka the one that just came out, the Vladivostok. The main purpose of the ship was to oppose enemy cruisers and Scharnhorst class battleships. So the whole goal of this thing was to go up against Scharnhorsts and enemy cruisers, which is why the smaller guns aren't really that big a deal. So with that being said, let's take a look at her before we head into the gameplay. And again, it's not a bad looking ship at all. It's kind of sleek. I like this one a little bit more as far as sleek goes. It just looks slimmer and a little bit more sharp. I do like the look of this one. So let's get to the gameplay. Alright, so what is there good about the Poltava, and what is mediocre slash, not necessarily the best thing in the world? Well, first of all, the thing that I like about it is it's extremely tanky, except against 16-inch guns. 16-inch guns can absolutely punish you through the front. It's not going to necessarily citadel you through the front, but you take a lot of damage from 16-inch guns through the front of your ship. Usually they are from high penetrations through the deck. That's been my experience. But like I said, it's not been like Synop worthy where I just get citadeled immediately through the front of the ship. But you are going to take a lot of damage from 16-inch guns if you're getting hit by them. So keep that in mind. The other bad thing about this is the high explosive just tears this thing up, and you're going to see that in this match because we're going to go up against some high explosive spammers. And then the 356mm guns. The problem with them, and maybe it's because I don't have Robert Jojard on this particular build, maybe I would go ahead and put him in. If this is something you're going to be running, just swap him in place of Madden on our Goller build. just because of the fact that this thing has a tendency to not penetrate or not do citadels on broadside battleships like you would hope they would. It's 356 millimeters, which is not preferable. It's kind of like a slightly better Leon as far as that goes, as far as, you know, penetration goes, so you can kind of get a feel for what you're looking at. But yeah, so if you've ever used the Leon, you know that when you're giving up those, or when the enemy's giving you a broadside, there's not always going to be the chance to citadel them. You're going to hit them, you're going to do a lot of damage, a lot of penetrations, but you're not actually citadeling them most of the time. However, it is pretty good against cruisers for the same reason. It's a lower caliber battleship gun, so you're going to be able to do a little bit more citadel shots against cruisers than you would if you were using 16-inch guns. But this Atlanta is about to have a rough day, because he has picked the absolute worst place for an Atlanta than I've ever seen in my life. Now, as you can see, the high explosive spam has already started. We've got Leons out there, we've got a Sinop out there, we've got a Bayern out there, we've got an Atlanta in front of us. There's a lot of high explosive spam going on in this match, and we are going to run right into a lot of it. Now, you guys know on Atlantic, I like to push up to the islands. Gives me some sort of cover, allows me to limit somewhat of who can actually shoot me. And we're going to try to use this island to the best of our ability. And then we're going to go ahead and actually, not sir here, we're going to run ourselves aground, because I assume that this Atlanta, who is within 4.5 kilometers, has launched torpedoes. Now, fun fact, Atlanta only has 4.5 kilometer torpedoes and doesn't get to use them very often. However, if you can see a broadside Atlanta inside 4.5 kilometers, those torpedoes are on their way. And as you can see, no problem dodging that. However, this leaves me somewhat exposed. Now, luckily, the enemy is firing high explosive. The bad thing is, the enemy is firing high explosive in high quantities. Everybody is shooting high explosive at me, and it's not preferable. Now, you can see we are starting to reverse. Again, use the island to the best of my ability. Try to make sure I limit who can shoot me, and that way I survive as long as possible. Now, notice there is a Nagato straight ahead of me, broadside on, giving it up, just begging for citadels. And the Japanese battleships are not known for being incredibly tanky when they're broadside on. He's not giving me a flat broadside, so maybe that's part of it. But you'll see, that was just the worst dispersion known to mankind. That gives the Germans a run for their money. That was pretty horrible. But, yeah, we're going to try to straighten ourselves up. Again, just try to limit who can shoot us. If it's just the Nagato, and you can see every time he shoots me, he's going to set a fire. It's so frustrating. And you'll see my mic will start lighting up pretty soon. It's like, come on, guys, get in the fight. Why am I the only one that's actually shooting the enemy? Let's go. You know, there are two battleships. One of them is hiding all the way at the edge of the frickin' map in no place whatsoever that he can do any damage. Completely out of play. And the other one is bow tanking a little bit behind me, but it doesn't seem like he's hitting anything. Seems like I'm the only one trying to shoot the enemy right now. I'm burning to death. There's a third fire, because of course there would be. Why not? I mean, everybody's spamming high explosive at me. But you can see that we are going to start getting some decent damage here. And, hey, look, an Asasio behind me. Wonder what he could be doing if he's getting himself detected. Do you think that he's trying to be a little sneaky and potentially trying to torp me into booty? That's what I'm thinking. So we're going to go ahead and get this ship a-rolling forward, because there's an island between me and him, and so if I go forward, I go into cover, and he's less likely to hit me with torpedoes. Pretty easy math, right? But Nagato, again, look at this shot. Any other battleship at Tier 6 would delete this Nagato right now. You just can't give this shot up, ever, in a Japanese battleship. And I don't even look back to see if those are getting close. They don't have a chance. But you can see now he's so freaking laxed that he's sitting there shooting at me from behind while there is a destroyer and two battleships out to his right. They could easily take shots at him. But, you know, why would they do that? That would require some sort of teamwork. Now, you'll notice I switched to the Sinop because he's broadside on, and I figure Sinop is extremely easy to citadel, so I might have a chance to citadel him. Didn't quite work out in my favor, though I am getting some decent damage out of it, and given the fact that we've lost 3/4 of our health this early in the match, you can probably tell that we are likely not to survive this match. However, sometimes it's about doing as much damage as you can before you die. And as you can see, I'm starting to get a little frustrated by the fact that this guy can literally just sit behind me and fire his guns at me all willy-nilly while there's a freaking destroyer behind him, and there he sets me on fire twice. So we have to burn the damage con, and now that's a almost certain death at this point because everybody's been spamming high explosive at me. So I have to make sure that I'm trying to get some damage here. So I aim a little higher. I'm like, okay, maybe I can just aim higher and just get a lot of penetration. And that worked really, really well. Wish I'd have, did that a little sooner. I might have been able to get rid of this Nagato by now. But as you can see, he finally goes down because the Colorado that was sitting behind me this entire time finally decides to shoot him. Imagine that. How funny that works. But yeah, Colorado is not exactly going to have himself a good game either. He's going to end up putting himself broadside on to the wrong people. But you can see Sinop broadside on, begging for it. Now, I am broadside to somebody because I can't be bow tanking everybody. But you can see we're starting to get much better penetration. Then we've got the Ishmael out there that I know that I can kill with one salvo. So I go ahead, I start targeting him. I know I only have 7,000 health, so it's just a matter of time before I'm dead. We've managed to deny the enemy this side for the most part. And so we're going to go ahead and take the shot. This Ishmael has no chance of avoiding this. He's already broadside on. If I get 1 or 2 pins, he's done. And, of course, we get the Citadel on the Ishmael. Of course we would, right? And then, of course, he gets one of the nastiest salvos because I just happened to kill him half a second too late. And then we go down to 800 health. Now we have 99,000 damage, and the Bayern's about to come out broadside on. And again, if I was in any other battleship, it wouldn't be a problem. But then I get set on fire by the Fubuki. I get the shot off, and we get a pretty solid, what is it, 14,000, 14 or 13,000 damage out of that salvo. We end up with 113,000 damage. We did everything in our power to do something about that. If we hadn't been spammed by half the enemy team with HE that early in the match, probably would have easily won this, or been able to stay alive. But just because they were spamming so much HE so early, there's not a whole lot I can do about it. I have to use my heals, I have to use my damage cons, and I can only take so much. But you can see this Colorado broadside on to a known destroyer. The destroyer was just spotted. He knows he's there, and yet he doesn't anticipate the fact that there are torpedoes on their way to him right now, which boggles my mind. I will never understand how you can go, hey, there's a destroyer over there. Let's just keep sailing broadside to him. I wonder what could go wrong. Well, what can go wrong is this. This guy is actually going to detect the Akatsuki one more time. Or Fubuki, sorry. The Fubuki one more time here. Wait for it. He gets the shot off at the Bayern. Okay, fair enough. He didn't have the destroyer to shoot at. And doesn't look like he gets any damage. But Fubuki is lit up right now. And he starts to make the right move. He starts turning in. And then he does the unthinkable. He goes, well, I started turning, but now I'm going to turn back the other way. What? On what planet is that a good idea? Not this one? Now, he takes 3 torpedoes. They're Japanese torpedoes, so they hurt a lot. But it's the thought. And you can see me lighting up in chat. I'm like, oh my god, they're going to potato this. This is over. They just threw away all their health. This is absolutely ridiculous at this point. And the Sinop was broadside on. He can't manage to land a shot against the Sinop. And, of course, you can see him starting to get frustrated. We've got a Bayern sailing all the way out into God knows where. I don't know why. Completely took himself away from the fight. The guy that was chasing the guy that went into the center to go after the destroyer that was shooting me in the butt somehow died. Managed to lose that gunfight against an Asashio. Our Akatsuki has no health left. But as we've seen before, it doesn't matter when you have no health in a destroyer. You can survive a long time and do a lot of damage in a destroyer with no health. And, it helps if the enemy is stupid. It really does. But as you can see, it's just our team is destined to throw this match. Now, this is a Queen Elizabeth. that has not discovered that he has the ability to shoot armor piercing. And this irks the ever-living crap out of me. Because this guy has some of the tastiest shots on the planet. Now, luckily, he does have high explosive loaded, so he can take care of this Fubuki really quickly. All he has to do, and the Fubuki just launched his torpedoes a minute ago. We saw them go cruising in front of the ship. So all he has to do is get one good hit. Oh, he didn't quite finish him. Is the secondaries going to get him? Yes. No, the rear guns got him. But it doesn't matter. Fubuki down. That means this is possible. You have a broadside Sinup in front of you, and a broadside Bayern in front of you, and you have one of the best armor piercings tier for tier that, oh my god, torpedoes got loaded. Turn in harder. Quick. Oh, he's going to take one in the butt. Yep, got one right in the prop shaft. Not quite, but right in the back. And he is still giving the perfect shot at the Sinup right now. All he has to do is load armor piercing. That Sinup is gone. Even the Queen Elizabeth's armor piercing can citadel a Sinup. It's that bad broadside. And as you can see, he's just not able to shoot him. For whatever reason. There's a good hit. Finally. He gets a good hit. Is he going to finish him with the rear guns? It looks like he should. And yes, he does. No! He leaves him with no health. Just no health left. But the enemy has 3 caps. They have 2 destroyers left. And the Sinup and the Bayern are about to kill our Queen Elizabeth. Because our Queen just cannot... There, he finally shoots him and finishes him off. But the Bayern out there says... Yeah, that's nice, sunshine, but I'm still alive and you're not. Oh, he lives a little longer. I say that. He's gotten... Nope, he got finished. Down he goes. Now, where was our Akatsuki during all of that? Oh, here comes the torpedoes. I'm sure those will miss by 1.5 miles. I don't know what he was doing that whole time, but definitely wasn't launching the torpedoes until the end. But surely this Bayern can kill this torpedo boat, right? Surely this Bayern can kill this torpedo boat. He's got an easy kill right in front of him, 3 kilometers. He knows there are going to be torpedoes coming. Why would he go broadside in front of him? You know, don't go broadside. He knows that the torps are in the water. He's going to go ahead and start slowing down and turning, or not slowing down, but turning in, and then he's going to dodge every last one of them. Now watch what this guy does next. The Moss is like, no, that was the only hope that I had to win this engagement. And he gets nailed for it. But watch what he does. He's like, okay, there's an island. This guy's obviously trying to get around me. I'm not going to let him. I'm going to put my ship between him and where he wants to go and let him run into me. Problem with that is, you're going to sacrifice a lot of health doing it. Even for a destroyer, he has 38,000 health now. And now he has 21. And he's flooding. Not preferable. So, what could have been an amazing play just turned into an absolute horrendous potato. Like, he had him. All he had to do was shoot him. All he had to do was shoot him. And because he went in and rammed him, he now has taken, what? Almost 20,000 damage? Yeah, 20,000 damage, and he's still flooding. What a play. And, of course, here are the torpedoes from the other torpedo boat that he saw and refused to turn in for. So down he goes. And now all that's left is our Akatsuki, who has no hit points left and no hope in hell of actually pulling this off. So, unfortunately, our heroics, our try to win the match, the best that we could, putting ourselves at the front line and allowing everybody to shoot us, does not work out. Apparently. Imagine that. So, 113,000 damage though, 1 kill, top of the frickin' leaderboard, of course, because why would anybody else be up there? I mean, I was one of the first people dead, so of course I would be the top of the leaderboard. So, if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.